And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon, and I am so happy you could all be here on this fine St. Patty's Day. I got my, there is green on this, but because I have green screen, you can't see it. It's hiding, but it is my green little Irish Day thing here. So... And so glad to see you all. Looks like everybody's all hopping. And that chat is moving. Hello, Henry. Good to see you. Beelin, there she is. Uncle Bones, Brian and Chewie. Hey, good to see you. Loved you. I've got some stuff to say about you a little later in the show. You might want to hang around. So Sharon Rap Master, good to see you. And Kevin Harder, Bat Mom, of course. How you doing? How you doing? Who else? We got Lester. Lester was here early. He was in there. If I missed you, I am sorry. So happy you guys could be here. Oh, the tall ones. Brent's back from the woods. Shh. Don't tell him about all the trouble that's been happening. No, he already knows. So good to see you guys. We're going to get the ball rolling today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Reddit Bigfoot. Who knows about Reddit Bigfoot? There are some people who don't even know what Reddit is, believe it or not. So, we'll go into that. There's John Ayers. Hi. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And Danny Staten, of course. I gotta get on the right place here because I'm on the wrong page. But here we go. Let's bring on my first guest.
Oh.
Hello, it's Bob. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? My beard's grown a little since that picture. I look like I didn't have a chin. Forgot I even did that.
I lost you, actually. I'm going to confess. I was like looking all over, for my intro for you. And I'm like, where'd it go? Did I delete you?
Luckily, I haven't gone anywhere. You could just make another one.
I was going to make another one, and but I found you. You're there.
I'm back. Here I am.
Here you are to help me talk a little bit about the Reddit Bigfoot. And I do have another guest. So let's bring him on. Hello.
Hey.
Rafferty, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And how are you, Nikki? How you doing,
good.
Bobby?
Hey.
Doing
Happy
good.
St.
Good
Patrick's Day.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm going to confess another thing. It's going to be like a night of confession. If I get up instantly and run off, it's because my corned beef and cabbage is on the stove right now.
Well,
So-
I mean,
we have to produce the show.
And I've been like running back and forth and trying to do all that. But it's okay. I'm gonna wait till the end of the show to go make the fresh gravy. Okay, so I won't mess that up. But everything else is ready. But thank you,
Sounds
gentlemen,
good.
for coming on and chatting with me today.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I use occasionally, and that's Reddit and the whole culture of Reddit users who use it for, well, many different things is what we're going to touch on. But for those of you who don't know what Reddit is, it's an American social news site, okay? Much like Facebook, that you can put your content in there, your posts, images, videos, links to things, and ask questions, and you can rate it. It's supposed to be this thing where you rate it up, thumbs up or thumbs down on that post, and you have a variety of topics. And one of those subreddits is Bigfoot. You can have cryptozoology, you can have zoology. I've seen posts about Bigfoot or Sasquatch in many different groups there, but it's kind of interesting to see all the different topics, and some are really people who aren't in the field too. They're not researchers or investigators or have anything to do with Bigfoot. They just have a curiosity and they post questions, and then you get a whole line of people, saying, dropping their opinions, because that's what it's all is. It's all opinions and speculations, and dropping it in there for people to stew about. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And, some people don't have very good filters, as we've learned. So, but
It's on Reddit.
yeah, that's what, Reddit's about. It's been around since around 2005. And I believe it had, I knew I was going to forget the number of how many followers. I think actually the Bigfoot Reddit has like 181,000 followers on the Bigfoot.
It's got like 500,000, I think.
Wow, that's a lot of
one of
people.
them.
On just the Bigfoot one.
181,000.
Yeah.
That's got to be a lot. A lot of that's
more.
got to be the general public.
So I don't know, but it is there. And so you can either use it or abuse it like anything else, right? But for the most part, I like to look at it just to spur on my ideas for shows. I've only maybe once or twice really gone with something and pulled a show out of that, but it helps to brainstorm because it's hard to come up with new topics every week.
Yeah, right on.
When you're doing the show every week and you want to be fresh and you don't want to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. But so that was my main thing, having, let's see, how am I going to put us? I think I'll put us like this. So was to ask that question. You know what? I forgot to put that in my thing. It's my question thing. How can we use Reddit, to help with Bigfoot investigations, research, and discussions, and use it to our benefit and not as just another throwaway, place. Because we all know that we've all had issues with Facebook and things that go on there. And a lot of people have left Facebook completely. I need to go on to this other thing.
I think you'd have to develop some filters for sure and be able to have, the ability to wade through some of the sarcasm and,
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be able to determine whether somebody was worth listening to or not, because you're going to get a lot of sarcasm and
Right.
Yeah. I'm on Reddit every single day. I call it my life. because I find
Really?
Do you really? You use it all the time?
Every solution that I have is on there because I'm in IT, and a lot of people have asked the same thing. And I actually have 12,000 karma points on Reddit, so I've been there a while.
Oh, wow.
But they almost kicked me out of subreddit Bigfoot one time for posting a misleading title. I'm like, sorry. And so subreddit Bigfoot, it's almost like people get on there that don't believe, that just want to make fun of people that may or may not.
That is something that's going to happen when you have such an open forum like that.
I always ask, why are you here?
That gets asked a lot too. Even in Facebook, that happens. But what was I going to go with that?
Sorry.
But it can be a valuable platform. If you engage in real discussions and you're sharing. I don't know about how many people really share their research there, but I think it's a great place to start organizing stuff. I think if you want to go in that direction, but it's
I post a lot of clips to it.
Yeah, the one thing when I'm on Reddit though, I'm anonymous. I have a fake name. Nobody knows who I am. I feel a little bit looser about giving my opinions about things because now it's not attached to my show or people out there who know me now. So I feel it's a good place for me to go and just to make comments and not have any judgment, because that happens, and have that put on me for my show. I don't want that. And everybody knows the minute you get a podcast or a show of your own, you get thrown into the Bigfoot politics. So that's why, I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. So you join all these different subreddits, like I said, and I mean, all different kinds, whatever, from paranormal to regular everyday stuff.
IT career questions, some of my favorites.
Yeah, all of that. Jonathan, have you ever gone and used Reddit?
Like I said, I went on Reddit and checked into the article about Tom Messick back, I think, in 2020. And since, I've never been on that.
It saved my ass a bunch. I love Reddit. Also, I hate it.
I'll check it out. I just, I'm a busy man and I don't get a lot of time to surf, new technologies or, I haven't. I'm not aware of it.
Because if I'm desperate for a new topic or something, then I'll go search over there, or I have some other.
Is it kind of like a forum? Is it like the forums?
It's forum style, yeah.
All right.
It reminds me of the old forums, anyway.
Let me tell you where, Jonathan.
I thought it was news. I thought it was just news.
Jonathan, let me tell you where you would benefit from Reddit. Say you want to buy a new product like a flashlight, and you want to find the best one. And you can search everybody's opinion and find the best possible flashlight. I did. Like it's all dudes. It's all dudes that just try stuff out, like knives and subreddit flashlight. I found the best flashlight ever. Size of a Pez dispenser, lights up the world like a stadium light.
I will definitely check it out.
Product reviews, questions with home improvement or electronic. I use it for work a lot. That's why I'm on it all day.
All right.
I have a Reddit tab, and very beneficial for like meticulous research. Also, you can get down rabbit holes deeper than anything.
Right. Well, I've used Reddit many times because I've lost links to old videos that I know are out there. And you can go on there and put in some keywords and start searching around, and somebody has put the old links in there, and it's like, oh man, I was looking for that. Now I can grab it, save it. And it's helped me many times. I've used it in that way, especially when I was doing the show for Bob Garrett, the what's it called, Big Thicket hoax. That there were some links I found on there and some other information, and which kind of leads you to other things, and that's what you want if you're a researcher or investigator. that's what you want. You want all the links.
Yeah.
You want to be able to get more information to go check out new things. And so it's a great source for that. I was going to put a thing in the, how many of y'all use Reddit in the chat? Give me a thumbs up if you guys have used Reddit or go to Reddit. Okay. Let me see how many of you even have ever used Reddit. But they have questions on there, like the one I just put up. If a Bigfoot is proven real, would the U.S. government immediately be considered endangered?
I do believe they're obligated to.
Some, there's going to be crazy, stupid questions. Is there really a stupid question? I don't know. But these are some of the examples I put on that you're going to find there. And see, it looks like the majority of the people, look at Reddit.
Looks like a lot of people use it, huh?
Yep.
I'll have to check it out.
You put me on there too.
Kevin says, I'm not on Reddit. I am so lame.
What about part 2 to that question? If they are so people-like as we've heard, or do they have rights?
There's those questions,
what kind of civil liberties are they entitled to?
And it's all fun to speculate and talk about all those questions that come up from that. But you have to remember it's all speculation. And there are people out there who are like, I've seen one, so I don't care. It doesn't affect people who have seen them because they have their truth, They look at things from a different perspective.
I think that it would have to be established that they have a language communicating with each other and actually have a culture like other, human civilizations around the world before they would be given special privileges, equal to any other human. But as far as the species, I think that, governments would be obligated to consider them endangered, especially, in the early stages.
Step 1 is definitely endangered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think they need assistance from us to stay safe?
Maybe.
Either one of you?
Maybe. I think if they get confirmed that they're real, yes. And if we can figure out how to actually find them.
There's going to be a mass hunt, do you think, if it comes out that it's true?
Yeah, I think they would need to be protected. They would be protected for sure. And, yeah. I mean, if a body just comes in the species is acknowledged, I would imagine they would just put preliminary protections in and make it well known. Do not disturb these newfound creatures until we can figure out, how we need to manage them. I mean, just finding a body and bringing it in doesn't give us a population number. I mean, it isn't like with Diane Fossey studying the gorillas where there was a lot of time and effort put into it and they found a group and were able to study them. Even if somebody brings a body in, scientists are going to say, all right, let's put some resources towards this. Well, good luck with that. I mean, even if they're twice as good as any of us, I don't see them going out saying, well, we found a tribe of 7. We got cameras set up. We're observing them now and learning a lot of stuff. I think they'll be chasing their tail just like all of us. It's not going to be that easy. It's just not.
Then they'll just destroy their cameras.
Yeah. They'll pull all the tricks they pull on everybody else that's putting everything into it.
I think it's going to be a great big mess when it is, for some reason, if we get a body, and it's brought to the rest of the world, not just our little community here, but the rest of the world. That's what I'm talking about is having that acknowledged that it's real because we have the body. And the mess it's going to create in terms of, like what happened with the spotted owl and what happens with these, land stuff, dealing with the land and stuff like that. Or they're going to shut down all the parks. They're going to charge extra now because you might see a Bigfoot.
They would have to establish the population. I mean, before they could even think about making rules like that, because what if there's only 50 of them stretched across the whole United States of America, and they don't know, do they travel from state to state, or do they stay within a 50, 100, 150 mile radius? They would know so little. They absolutely couldn't shut down forestry and other agricultural industries just because a new species was found. Like with the spotted owl, it was, discovered in a specific environment. And once it was discovered, they established protections for them, but it didn't necessarily shut everything down. If it was found in an area, then the scientists and the game wardens and such would come to that area and say, hey, look, hold the boat. We have an endangered species in here. We need to go through the procedures. You might need to hold up operations. I don't see that with Sasquatch.
Right.
I think there'd be a lot of people chaining themselves to equipment, though. I don't know why.
You think they really will be surprised? Right? I mean, the people that look at you still and laugh and say, they aren't real. Loggers, once it's determined that they are real, will they be scared? I mean, will they?
It could be.
I've always thought, what will the general public really think when they have to lay in bed at night and talk to the wife and say, there's 8-foot human-like super strong monsters up in the woods?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the same reason we're not allowed to hear about aliens too? Like whatever that paranoia is, societal wise.
They might. The reason. John. Yeah.
It's the same. It would be the same principle in play there, which I'm okay with it. Let me know anything. I don't care if all our politicians are lizard people. Let me know. I'm in. It wouldn't change anything. You're still gonna. I'm in. Still pay taxes. Still gonna have to pay taxes.
That's funny.
Just let me know something cool.
Right. See how this is. It spurs on questions, and that's what it's all about. I don't think they need our help. I think they're fine just the way they are. If they have a breeding population and we're not seeing it, then they're doing just fine. They're surviving, and they don't need any help from us or Joe Schmo from the government to do that. Now, people say they already know. The government already knows, so they're just.
I see the bigwigs like Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos buying up all sorts of land wherever these things might be, because it'll be a cash crop for them. I mean, who wouldn't want to be the one that
just
owns
depends
the
on who you're looking that information, where that's coming from, because they're also saying they're buying up all that land because pretty soon California is going to be underwater, and they're going to try to buy up this highland that's in certain areas. So it can be spun, all the stories can be spun in anybody's.
Right on.
Okay. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm sure they'll do a good job of it.
Hey, I looked at that map. El Paso is perfect, right where I am. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be in $1 million territory here pretty soon.
Have you seen the trailer for that new movie called Sasquatch Sunset?
Yeah, that's been everywhere.
Yes, I have seen that.
It does look hilarious.
I'm trying to find the producer to have him on. I think he's a bigger name. Ari Aster.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who I'm trying to get a hold of him for interviews, and because even I had thought about that too, but
they said they put a lot of effort. Didn't they say they put a lot of effort into speaking with other Bigfoot researchers and people that were in the know about their adaptations and their features and how they may function? But when right on, but it did have a little humor to it, though. I mean,
a little.
I was giggling. I thought it was going to be serious.
I had the guy that made Exist on, Eduardo Sanchez, and that was the best Bigfoot movie I'd ever seen, as far as just excitement the whole way. And I couldn't believe I got him, so I don't know about the new one, the new craze.
Which one was that?
Exist. You never saw it, dude? It's amazing.
No, I haven't.
He was a director of Blair Witch Project as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
He was a
fact,
great interview.
There's somebody who grabbed a screen grab from Exists and tried to play it off as, boy, this looks like a real picture, blah blah blah, and oh my god, yeah, that's recent. You'll see it on Facebook. Me
and him were making fun of it. He said it looked like a crackhead from a trailer. He said it looks like some guy from a trailer. Here, let me share this. You're already sharing. I'll show it, Jonathan.
All right, yeah.
But it's one of the better movies. It's realistic. I mean, not realistic. It's excitement all the way through. Check him out.
Oh, good.
You haven't seen that guy right there on the side? He's ugly. He is an ugly Bigfoot. He's mean.
Yeah.
And he said so. Halfway through our conversation, I hadn't dawned on it about what to talk about, honestly. But I'm like, wait a minute. You had a Sasquatch suit in 2018, 2014. And I got to thinking, what do you think about the Patty suit? He goes, the one we had fell apart in like a year and a half. So I don't know how they made one 50 years ago. And one, he said that one just disintegrated because it was hot.
Right. Yeah.
I think they made it in Florida or Texas. No, it's Texas, right south by the coast. I don't know.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. Didn't the Tin Man pass away from like lead poisoning or paint poisoning from being covered up in that silver?
I think he passed out.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't pass away.
You got to be brave to sign up for Hollywood.
Especially in the 40s, man. They didn't care.
Yeah.
They'll smoke an actor for the fun of it.
Yeah.
There's a picture out there with all the different gorilla suits that were available in the late 60s. Have you seen that picture?
It's insane. They're just stupid looking.
They're stupid looking. They're really bad. And I don't even know. How do let me see. I don't know.
Did you ever hear the story about the Munchkins like sexually harassing the actor that played Dorothy? Yeah, she had to be escorted around because the Munchkins are always sexually harassing her, trying to grab her and stuff. Judy Garland.
Doopy-dee-doo. Come on over here, Dorothy. I got something for you.
14-year-old Judy Garland.
Yeah,
no wonder she drank herself to death.
I'll never be able to watch that show again.
There's so much behind the scenes.
That's horrible. Well,
here it is. Hold on. Open.
Now that I've ruined Wizard of Oz for everybody, it's what I do.
It's over.
Ask me about the Goonies next. I'll ruin that one for you.
Oops.
I love ruining the Goonies for people.
Oh my Lord. It doesn't want to populate on here.
Has anyone ever been killed by a cryptid?
That we know about? No.
That's
the land between the lakes. People say they have.
Yeah, that's right. That.
And our friend David Pilates has done everything but say that he thinks it's happened.
Yeah, right on.
He's done everything but say it.
I have to confess, I mean, I was, it was only my first year into this thing. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I mean, I had this, first time romantic view of Bigfoot, and I was following Todd Standen heavily and reading the article on Reddit. It made sense to me. Of course, I made it make sense to me that Tom Messick got snagged up by a Sasquatch. I mean, I was fairly convinced, but
there it is. It finally downloaded. It took forever to upload on there.
Look at the Fred Hughes one.
Wow.
That Don McLeod one's just a gorilla. That's all it is.
Gorilla. It's all gorilla based, yeah.
They're all gorillas. But I mean, that's all we really have for that time. There wasn't like any Bigfoot movies at that time, really.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense that
that's
they
what we
really
have
thought
to
they were
compare
gorillas.
to, suit-wise,
Yeah.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Don McLeod one at the end there.
Mm-hmm. It's just actually an actual silverback. That's
Right
all
on.
that is.
His eyes are
One
like
of-
crazy.
One of these is a Three Stooges one. I can't remember which one it is.
Hey, Mao, want to be a wise
Yeah.
guy? Why I oughta.
Oh.
The Guitar Zan from Ray Stevens song. That gorilla was good. Got a pet monkey that likes to get funky. Sings
So what
boogie
did you
woogie and
guys?
sounds
Oh,
real-
has anybody ever killed a cryptid? That was one of those questions that came up on the cryptozoology one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Has
I just
anyone
thought
ever been killed by a cryptid?
Yeah. What stories do we have of Bigfoot killing people? I had heard of a story of a man in a pickup truck who had his arm ripped off by a Bigfoot. But I don't know of anybody who interviewed him or checked up on the story or anything like that.
The only story I can remember is there was a story about a guy wherever he was, and I don't know the details, but he was sitting in an area and then he had been attacked by multiple Sasquatch, beat up and maimed. And I know that other people have covered that or looked into it, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. He wasn't killed. He lived to tell the story. I doubt it's true, but other than that, I've never heard of any person killed.
I mean, I suppose we wouldn't hear if they were killed.
Mm-hmm.
They can't tell their story, right? Of what killed them,
or even their families. Oh, wait a minute! Afghanistan. All right, so there's that story with the special or the Rangers, I believe. Yes, the red-haired
giant with the Kandahar giant.
Kandahar giant. Yeah.
Have y'all ever seen the episode of Love, Death, and Robots about Afghanistan and the Marines had these genetically modified werewolf soldiers?
No.
And they would go out at night and fight the werewolf Afghanis. Wow. The dogmen. That is such a good episode. I recommend it. Like after this is over, checking it out because it's only like 6 or 8 minutes long, but it is one of the best pieces of cryptid media that exists out there.
Oh, you'll have to shoot me that link sometime so I can check that one out. But hey, look what happened.
Whoa! Whoa!
Thank you, Rabbit. I appreciate that. Thank you. Really love you. I'll have to send you a little gift or something for that one. So okay, let me move on. So this one, why did I put this one in there again? Anyway, the big file, aka a possible collection of best evidence known to Sasquatch universe. It doesn't make sense. What they're trying to say is what is the best possible collection of best evidence out there. And I mean, you can say videos, right? And we've all have the same. The PNG holds up to almost everything. People are on both sides of the fence, and I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with people not believing in the PG, and I don't have a problem with people believing in the PG because we're still in the same place in my world. We're still in the same place. Let's just talk about it.
I'll tell you the best evidence I've ever came across is going on hunts with actual research orgs and having people tell it to you in confidence and show it on their phones, the stuff that they don't put out there.
Right.
And that's the best stuff. Because I've seen things I was like, well, this is like, that's not fake or anything, but like why is it this public and nobody would believe it if it was? So
you get a lot out of reading somebody's demeanor.
Mm-hmm. These are people who, this is late at night and they just like, well, check this out if you haven't ever seen it, and they'll show you that this is from someplace I researched. Like, what the hell has this been on the news? Why is this? But
I had a really weird situation like that too, where somebody showed me a picture of a Bigfoot, and it was such a weird interaction that happened there. grief as it was. But I'm like, wow, but I don't know this lady who is showing me this photo. And I was on a bus, believe it or not. So it was a weird situation. It wasn't something that I could
Spontaneous.
follow up. Yeah, it just happened fast, and it happened and it was over. But way before, I was even doing podcasts, or I was just into the subject. And I had a Bigfoot t-shirt on, which is spurred on the conversation. But so weird, that happened, and you're like, dang, that looks like a Bigfoot,
I think if you back up 7, 8, 10 years, and the judges and people that hold, their job, their occupation doesn't warrant them to go public or even peep out something like an encounter with Sasquatch. When you're able to speak with them in private and they share something like that with you and on the hush hush, I think that has a lot of credibility to it. Not much like you were saying, Bobby. Much like what you were saying.
The late night, nobody's around, way out. Yeah, I didn't know that existed. Now I seek it out.
Yeah.
There was a judge in my hometown, home county, who I found out through friends of friends of friends that did like a secret Sasquatch hunt once a year.
Wow.
And this is like a well-respected dude. And I asked him about it. I asked him to come on my show and talk about it, and never got a single response. But like 10 minutes later, he befriended me on that particular Facebook, or not Facebook, but social media app. It wasn't Facebook. And then I'm like, what the heck was that about? Are you just watching me or something? Because our families know each other.
Right.
And so I'm like, so I'm just waiting on like the time to pounce. Maybe after he retires. It's coming up.
That's a good one. The Pocatello footage of that Bigfoot up on the hill that kind of walks real fast. You just kind of see a thing, something going by. It's interesting.
Is that the
footage?
Is that the snow? The one in the snow?
Across the top of the ridge? Yeah.
It's up on the top. Yeah, there was snow, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It's in some like really thick evergreens, and it's just walking from left to right.
Yeah.
Well, viewers left to right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I think the one that Jeff Meldrum.
It's inconclusive.
Yeah.
You can't see anything. You just see a big dark thing. Could have been a bear for all we know. Or one of the kids. Wasn't it kids who saw it? So
I'm not sure, actually.
It just is what it is. The Freeman footage as well is one of the top ones out there. People, again, on both sides of the fence. There's this, there's that. This makes me believe. This doesn't make me believe. But it's okay. It's all right. It's
what
all
about,
in good fun.
I've mentioned it. What about the squeaky Bigfoot footage? Mark Green.
Yeah. Is that the one with the crawling one?
Yeah, the Zagnut bar, the candy bar.
Yeah,
yes, on the thermal.
That's my favorite one.
I'm highly suspicious of that one for whatever reason. I
had campfire stories with some person affiliated with that, and I wouldn't be suspicious of it. There's a little bit more realism to it than I'd never heard of it before. And
that gentleman who set that camera, he seemed to be pretty. Believable.
There's a lot of
he didn't seem too shady.
I heard a lot of backstory about it, and I was like, wow. So that's what goes on in this. Like, I didn't know why it was so. I don't know why it's so egotistically guarded that things like this happen. Like, if you want something to be public and made mainstream, you sure do a hell of a job not making it public / mainstream at the same time. Accepted. But I won't reveal any names or anything. But yeah, I got more backstory than I thought. I didn't know it existed. 10 minutes later, I know where the guy lived and grew up, what things happened. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm 70% on that one. I'm 70% on that. The movement when it comes up, pops up way in the back, and it makes its way up crawling on the ground to grab that.
It was like
candy bar.
the spider crawler everybody talked about.
Right on.
Like it was live video of that.
A human is just a bit more clumsy and not that strong. That when I looked at it, I mean, you gotta have wildlife strength to be able to move across the ground like that, or you get yourself an athlete, a wrestler, somebody that's you're really going out there to make a video.
You really got
that.
That
man didn't seem like the kind of guy who gave a care to make a fake video just to be on TV.
He passed away after that too.
Oh.
Mark Green did. Mark Green. Green something. M Green. M period Green.
I got distracted by the chat there. So the other things that come up on that Reddit is how you can ask people to help you out with certain things. Like this guy's asking articles about Black Ops units capturing or killing Sasquatches. And he had a few people on there, dropping some links and stuff like that. But it's interesting whether you believe it or not. And you always have to consider that you talked about, the squeaky thing, but then you have people like Ken King, who we know had the Bigfoot hand grabbing that apple. And so it's gonna be hard. We gotta just keep checking for the red flags, and move it right along, because we know that the subject is riddled with hoaxers and people who are trying to pull the wool over your eyes and get you to believe in things that will maybe help them, but not the rest of the fight, to try to find more answers to this. and fun answers, I think more people have a better time when you're going out camping and having a good time at finding Sasquatch than going out there and not doing that. You probably can stay serious, but just remember what you're doing, and which will bring up some real investigation stuff that happened this last weekend in the corridor there in Florida. But we'll get to that in a little bit later, and some of the stuff that Jonathan's been doing in his area. That's some serious research there, and questions were asked and they tried to find answers and still probably had a great time. Pretty jealous that I wasn't there at that one.
Yeah, same here.
But that was really fast notice. And I had a lot going on that weekend. So
it started the day after my birthday.
Oh.
That would have been a good birthday present, hang out with all them.
But for me, because I'm into the hoaxes and the more nefarious stuff, it's a great place to go ask questions about certain researchers or people with channels and just put out their Sonny Vader credibility. Because Sonny Vader has had like a gazillion videos and pictures that have been strewn around social media that are all fake. They're all fake, guys. It's the same Bigfoot he's had for the last, I don't know, how long has he been? 10 years? He's been on and off for around that long.
Jeepers creepers.
And it's the same. But this last one he put out a couple weeks ago, you can see his face. I swear you can see the grease paint on his face.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go grab that and compare it to his face, because he doesn't like to really show his face very much. But
those perennial hoaxers remind me of cult leaders. Like they just make people believe stuff no matter the evidence.
It must be an addiction for them. I mean, once they get high off a bunch of folks that, believe them, they just like the attention. And total disregard for everybody else. Just keep on going.
Had somebody jump in the back. Let's bring him on. Well, hold on.
What happened?
He flipped the kayak.
I was on the wrong thing. I did that before too because I have anyway.
How you doing, Matt?
Hey, Matt.
I thought I did it because I had YouTube open and I went, why is Jonathan talking over everybody? And I had both open because I'm on a laptop.
Yeah, let's blame it on you. It was all your fault.
My laptop died.
I don't know how to shut up. I talk over everything.
But it turned out it was just 2 channels open. So
the man, the myth, the legend.
You know, I almost bought that T-shirt at Target, but I thought that sounds pretty conceited. I won't do that. Instead, I wore my Hellbent Holler T-shirt.
There you go.
Well, welcome to the chat. And
how you guys doing?
We're kicking it.
Doing good, Matt. How you doing?
Ripping Reddit apart.
Ripping Reddit, yeah.
You know, Nikki asked me about that if I wanted to talk on Reddit, and I'm just, to me, it's just another stream, and it's just unvetted material going up, and the only difference seems to be when, you know, is that people vote on it, which means the most sensational stuff goes to the top. So take it for what it is, but
right, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I give tours at TV stations all the time to young journalists coming up, and I get 20 students, you know, from local universities, and I meet them down in the call center, and I say, how many people have you watched the local evening news? Guess how many hands go up out of 20?
3. 0.
And I say, why are you in a journalism major then? Why are you? Well, we're MMJs, multimedia journalists, meaning basically bloggers, one-man shows. And I went, okay, where do you get your information? Facebook, Reddit, YouTube. I went, is the information vetted? Well, what do you mean? Has it been legalized? You know, who are you getting the information from? Do you believe it? Well, it's coming from my friends. I believe it. I went, oh, okay. YouTube journalist there.
My friends.
Well, you know, the majority of people on Reddit, it's a really younger group on Reddit too. If you're looking at the demographics. So thank you, Slackmate, for that information. And but I mean, anybody can use it if you know, but you're right. Exactly what Matt says. You just have to vet your information and at least check 2 or 3 sources when if you're going to use it for something, you know, and instead of like what I use it for is to spur on more ideas, you know, for further shows or stuff like that. But it would be hard for me to use anything on Reddit as a source of like a receipt as proof of something. That'll never happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that.
Do you run into credible people on Reddit, like people that you recognize that are in there commenting and sharing information, people that you would hold at a higher standard? Do you
every once in a while
witness them in there?
Every once in a while, because you don't have to use your name on Reddit.
Okay.
You can have a pseudonym. You can have a pseudonym on there, and like me, you know, nobody knows who I am on Reddit, and that's the way it's going to stay. And hence why you're not seeing my whole thing up here, because I don't want you to see who I am on Reddit. I feel more open to discuss things without having the pressures of my show on my back. So, but yeah, you can, and occasionally you will see somebody posting on there. I think more people probably don't use their real names.
I'm ready to disclose some secret information here because I'm about to have to go, but I want to get this out. Okay. So I've got more than one Reddit handle. I've got mine, which is Bobby Do What. I don't know why it's that, but I also have some other ones that are fake. And sometimes when somebody's talking too much smack to me, I'll get on my other ones like, "Hey, you listen here, buddy." And I'll drum them up that much. And I've gotten a lot of views from the algorithm to my YouTube page just from getting people pissed off at me argue with them from 2 different areas, just propping it up. It's a lot of times like the same person or a bot. I'm my own bot.
Problem, reaction, solution. There you go. Pump it.
Fake it till you make it, man. To drop off, Nikki. This has been a great time. Nice to meet you.
Okay, thanks a lot for coming, Bobby. I appreciate it.
Yeah, great hanging out with you, Bobby.
Bobby's information is all down in the descriptions for you guys to go there, click on it, hit that like button, sub, do all the things you do, and watch his shows because he's got some incredible guests. He's got.
I don't know how I get them, but they're good.
Great guests for reals.
All right, y'all.
Thanks.
Peace out.
Talk to you later.
Take care, Bobby.
Bye.
And then there was two. So,
hey, I look like Matt Larsen. Oh, that's Matt.
Wow.
Look
at that creature.
But there's
two of them there, Matt. There's two of them. See the one up behind it, Matt?
Yeah, the white Bigfoot. I thought I'd throw that up there, and
that stuff gets you from the distance.
Yeah. But you never see anybody approach the stuff. Why? Why does nobody say, "Oh, there's something looking at me. Let's move angles. Let's move closer a foot or two and let's move over to the side. Let's walk up to it." And I know now sometimes it's scary if you really think you got an animal in front of you, but you can still
just take 5 steps, because after you take 5 steps, you're not going to see that.
Right. You're not
real.
You're not.
That perspective
and that's what you see a lot about. And I know Matt has made this point many times that pictures aren't going to do it. It's going to be video. It's going to be something moving.
Yeah, you
that's
have movement.
Going to be important in the future. So, yeah, people are calling this an owl, by the way. All the comments, there's 202 comments on this picture here, and the majority of them all said owl. Hello, Mr. Owl, or throwing up pictures of owls and stuff. I don't even think it's that. I just think it's, foliage back there. But
well, if you look at some of those pictures where they have animals in the forest that you don't see right off the bat, and then when they get up and move away, it's like, holy cow, I didn't even see them there. I mean, a real animal in the woods is very camouflaged, and unless they move, sometimes you just wouldn't know they're there. They don't always look like the animal you're looking for. They blend with wood and leaves. And
I love it when I see videos of people out in the forests walking around and they go, "Oh, look at that dark over there. It looks like it's got eyes. Is it looking at me?" And then they walk over there and I'm like, "Yeah, woohoo." They're checking it out. How difficult? It's not that difficult to do that. If you're going to state something on your videos like, "Oh, what is that?" or "What's going on?" Don't just, turn around and go the other direction.
Right.
You're out there for a reason, right? To find out if it's something out there. So
that's an early depiction of somebody who's just looking for something that looks like everybody will love it. Grab that 3 seconds, throw it on YouTube. You're a hero.
That's the way it is. That's what's happening. Gotta scrutinize it, people. You're gonna
most of the time they never see it in the field. A lot, probably 70-80% of that stuff you're seeing, they're seeing it after they're reviewing their work.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I got all these messages. Okay. So this next one was Bigfoot almost certainly doesn't exist, but how inherently implausible is it? There's some deep thinking questions that come up sometimes, and you will get a mess of philosophers and I don't know. There might be some actual PhDs in the bunch. I don't know. We don't know, right? But they'll come up with very long, descriptive whys. This is why. And I don't know. They make for interesting reads to come up with more opinions about topics, just like this one. But and pissed off people, who say, like how you said earlier, Jonathan, well, why are you here? Why are you here if you're gonna poo-poo on our whole Bigfoot?
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad you said that, Sharon. Sharon says, has anybody hung up camouflaged animal face masks before? And I'm sure that has happened. And I've got an example of that coming up here real soon. We're going to examine that. So, but also people put up videos of what they say Bigfoot caught on camera. So then you're all excited. Okay, let's see it. And you just see this thing off in the background. Obviously, it's like a suit, and the whole thing is just staged. And you go down into the comments, and people are talking about it and how they do this on all their videos, So it's just one thing after another. But you're right; it's all about the clicks and views for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're a minority. There is no doubt about that.
Right, for sure.
There's a huge population out there that doesn't give a shit about Sasquatch. But when they see somebody get 150,000 views and they catch a black crow buzzing through the hemlock, they'll throw it right on there. You can bitch at them all you want. They're just going to laugh and say, yeah, whatever. I don't care about Bigfoot. But I got 150,000 views off that one, though. So some of them just...
find it kind of amazing that you can ask one question and you'll get, over 200 comments from different people all over the place putting in their opinion, which is, I think that's okay. I think it's okay for everybody to have their own opinion. As long as it doesn't get all rude and nasty, because that's when it's taking a turn. Like this, thoughts on Bigfoot? Just a simple question. What do you think about Bigfoot? Because there's no fossil, it's saying no fossil record and large apes and going into things like that. But I highly suggest that, if you want something to read and you want to get into different topics, that you check out Reddit Bigfoot, people. It's really easy to get on there and like you might
come across you might get lucky and come across somebody that isn't in the subject that has some information that they really never thought to share with anybody. Because they're not in the subject, they don't see it as important. But I mean, if they're at their family reunion and Uncle Charlie and Billy Bob over there found the arm of a Sasquatch or the top torso and the head and everything, buried it in the ditch behind his house, and if that same person came on Reddit, saw that question and just punched in, said, well, my uncle's just buried half a Sasquatch behind the house. You might get lucky. Find a diamond in the rough.
You might get lucky. Yeah, you might. Somebody's going to get lucky for that. I don't know who.
You got to have some time on your hands to surf through there, though.
I'm finding, my hands have been pretty tight.
Show me what you got. Tim, you heard them. Said, show me what you got.
So for Show Me What You Got today, I'm actually featuring Jonathan and Matt because they have done some amazing stuff lately. And I want them to show me what they got. And first up is going to be Jonathan, who has the channel Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. Again, all his information is down in the description. But he recently, did I get the date right on those prints there, Jonathan? It was the 7th, right?
that evening was the 6th. The following evening, when I collected the hair and cast the tracks, that was the 7th.
So who came upon some tracks? He came up while he was out there. When he's always out there, in the dark, in the snow, filming himself doing the hard stuff. But he came upon this trackway, and do you have those casts?
Yeah, they're all packed in my dresser, still in the hemlock boughs. I'm just let them harden up. They're probably hardened by now. I just haven't had time to get them out. It's starting to warm up, so I'll take them outside and hose them off. Start taking a look at them. Yeah. I don't expect much because I didn't have any hairspray or anything to spray in the snow. It was really, I had to work that day with my daughter, Brooke, and I was like 2 o'clock, and I'm like, I can't let this go. I did this last year with 2 prints that I should have cast no matter what, and I'm not going to make that mistake. I'd rather cast them, and if they're no good, well, they're no good. So I scrambled, went up there and did it. They're probably melted out a little, but I have the pictures. And I did 3D scan them, Matt. I do have that before I cast them.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now we just got to figure out how to get those 3D scans printed. I was working on it, had a good contact, spent a lot of time on it, and it fizzled out. They found out what I was doing, and they went silent on me. Once I said what it was I wanted done, they went totally cold. And it was a STEM program, aeronautics with a 3D printer. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I worked them pretty hard too. I was really excited because Mike Ann and I was trying to figure out how to get these things. I made the correct file from what they said they needed. I had another artist clean it up for what they needed. Send them the file. Crickets.
Dang.
Once I told them what I had. So I don't know if they opened it up and they said, we're not touching this. I don't know. I don't know what happened. True story. I just went, wow, okay.
Then that's an issue, right?
Yeah. I didn't say it was. I didn't believe it was, but evidently it is. So.
It's coming, though. It's coming.
Hairs
They're
did you
warming up
find?
to it. I found one hair. It was a single hair that was discovered on the stick that I was stirring the plaster with. The second batch, I had to take the stick that I had busted off a pine tree, mixed up the first batch. That plaster was on the end of the stick. The stick was a little bit longer. I snapped it, got down, started mixing up the next batch, and I just got into it and saw the hair and stopped, grabbed it with my bare hand, picked it up, and went over, set it down on some leaves, got the gloves on, bagged it. That's how I collected it.
Yeah. Well, the photos are.
And then we were on your show with Alex Petikoff, and it was discussing it on your show, and Alex was nice enough to reach out to Cindy Dawson and see if I was able to send it over to her for analysis, and we got the green light on that. I sent it over to her. She did the analysis and sent this information back.
Right. Yeah. And I should have made me a copy of that because now I can't read all the questions that she puts on there. Do you have that? Let me see.
I think I do. Yeah, I can read it.
Okay. It was this one. Was not.
Give me 1 second. Go grab my glasses.
Okay. Her Hominidae Enigma, Squatch hair analysis from Cindy Dawson, and she did this February 10th of this year. Okay, mine's come up now. But now there he is. I'll let him do it.
Okay. So it's prepared to slide from the sample of hairs given. Results of the samples are documented on the following analysis sheet and photos being provided. And the first category was the root was present on hair, appeared to a normal dropped hair, finished life cycle, and there was a photo. And the next category was the scale, found near the root, clear picture, imbricate creenet pattern, indicated common pattern with human head hair. And there was a photo, same as the root hair photo. Next category was medulla. Hair has no medulla. This would be a human or human-like hair, not animal. There's a photo of that as well. And next was the cortex, fine texture, pigmented granules. Corti fusa points to human hair. And the next was the cuticle. It was a smooth cuticle, natural color, no hair products present. There's a photo of that as well. Hair tip seemed to squared off, could have possibly been trimmed. There's a photo of that as well. And notes, hair was no debris or artifacts. Hair had not been off the body long. In the conclusion, I believe that this is a sample of a human head hair or human-like, red, light brown, one color. And the following has been determined from a microscopic hair examination. The sample may have come from a shed hair. Last stages of growth before it fell out. No post-mortem banding on the hair to indicate death. This was from a live animal. All other animal species have been ruled out. What I find very interesting is that Cindy had, we engaged in some conversations on email, and I'll share with you something that I think is important for everybody to listen to. All right. So Cindy said, there are people who have run DNA testing for Sasquatch, such as Dr. Melbum Ketchum. Because there are no known certainty that hair came from a Sasquatch, witness removal from body, and then analyzed, the DNA has nothing identical to test against. The hairs that have been found from areas of sighted Sasquatch being they are very much alike human hair. I do have some hair from such events. This is my database line I use for other hairs. The characteristics of your hair are very similar to my other base hairs. Eventually, with enough samples alike, there may be enough to get something more credible in terms of testing. For now, I just sort out the positive hairs against the other hairs of animals. We need to learn what positive hair looks like and how to find areas with other positive DNA or body fluids, scat, bones, or species to test against to be sure that's Sasquatch. So if I was to just stir the Bigfoot sauce just a little bit, what I had thought was the cut end. In the beginning of our conversation, I mean, once I saw the pictures and I realized that it had a cut end, I instantly went to, throw it out. it's been cut with a pair of scissors. But I spent some time thinking about that, and I thought, well, what happens when a squirrel comes up and decides he wants that hair, he's going to nip at it? Wouldn't that squirrel or rabbit or possibly even a bird wants to take it for a nest, but it's hung up on the tree branch and bites onto it to take off? Would it leave as clean of a cut? I don't know. It's something that we could look into. But I read that information and feel that it's definitely worth, holding on to and, retain the information. That could be a Sasquatch hair just because the end's cut, but just gotta,
you just won't know. We won't know. But
Yeah.
it's great that you finally had a connection to get it
Yes.
looked at, and that now you can put that
Yeah.
in your file and have that for the future.
Yeah.
And
Because I
and which
surely
is the
don't have a
main thing.
microscope like that. I mean, that's a great
Right.
job she did.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, very
But
thankful.
thank you for doing all that and your hard work out there.
Yeah.
Doing your thing, what you really like to do, and documenting it. Everything you're doing, you're documenting it
Yeah.
and sharing it. So I completely appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. And we're going to move on to Matt's information, Central Florida Bigfoot, for a little longer. I don't know how much longer, but yeah, you can find his information also down below. And thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for that super sticker. Appreciate you a lot. And we're getting to your little section here. So you had a little get together this last weekend, 7th through the 10th?
Yeah, wait a minute. Brian only gave me $2 last weekend. Now he's giving you $5. What the hell?
Can't get no respect.
Yeah, I got to meet Brian and Chewie, and I tell you, they're great people. I still haven't figured out who's who, but
right.
I know the four-legged one's really nice. So, but anyway, but yeah, I had my little quarter camp out. I do not call it an expedition. I call it a camp out with friends. And there's a couple things I wanted to work through and experiment with. So I was able to figure out how to get a group camp at a fairly easy location to get into from the corridor, almost laughable. But once you're in it, it's a different world. It's a totally different world. And what I was able to bring in was filmmakers, Eric Swanson and Alex Petikoff. I brought in paranormal people. I was able to bring in flesh and blood people. I was able to bring in alien and orb people. I even brought in Tim T, who I worked with when I first started 4 years ago. Tim T and I worked together. He's a tracker hunter. We kind of parted ways a couple years ago for lack of agreement on what we both were seeing at the same time in the same place. And that's perfectly fine. No problems there, but I wanted to bring Tim back. I still respect him as a person and as a tracker and as a hunter. So I brought in, pretty much offered it to anyone I have worked with over the last 4 years. And the reason was for that is my 4-year journey in Florida is coming to an end. And I said this from pretty much 3 years ago. I said, I'm going to give it 3 to 4 years. I think I said 3, but I went 4 because I had knee surgery and I've missed about a half a year. So I wanted to figure out, well, how can I wrap this up? And how can I wrap it up quick? Because I'm running out of time. I have limited time left in Florida. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to wrap it up. And then I said, maybe if I just do another camp out. And I pondered it. Who do I invite? How do I get people here? And man, I just put out the word. Mike Ann started it. Mike Ann sent me an email and said, I'm coming down the 7th through the 10th. And there's the date. No planning whatsoever. Didn't look at the moon phases, didn't look at the hunting schedules, didn't look at anything. It's just like, my cam's coming down, we're going again, because he was in the original camp out a couple of years ago.
That's awesome.
And so from there, I just started sending emails, and man, I got a who's who. It was a who's who event. I mean, people were even joking like, what are you doing starting your own Bigfoot conference in the woods? I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I was totally humbled that anybody came at all. I was just, I had so many people in my ears about narratives and controlling film, and are you trying to do the 168, and you know, is this a tribute to Carrie, and are you going to have people sign agreements, and are you, I mean, it just went on and on and on. And I tell you,
holy cow,
I got a lot of respect for anybody who pulls this off, but this was this is a straight up free, please come help me. I need you to put eyes on this. Either the corridor is legit or it's not. You come, I told Eric, if you come down, I told Alex, if you come down, your film is yours, my film is mine, Eric's film is Eric's, Brian and Chewie's film is Brian and Chewie's. Whatever you all conclude is your conclusion. I'm not controlling anything. Nobody's signing an agreement and not, you know, a clause that says you can't. I didn't do any of that crap. I invited people to vet it and take an honest look. I don't see that happening in Bigfoot world.
Right on, man. Right. You invited a bunch of friends down there to do what you love to do.
It can still go either way. I don't think it is, but you know, somebody could really just ponder and get in their editing mode and say, you know, hey, you know, this is not a really viable place. And I knew that. I knew that going into it, that can easily happen. And I got people telling me you're making a mistake. And I just, no, I want the truth. So we invited these people in. I sent out a long email that said, here's the camp. Here's where we're meeting. Here's where you go. You're going to be close to civilization. Don't let that throw you. I'm going to take you back and we're going to do something. The only stipulation I had is no heavy drugs, no drinking, no smoke bombs to make movies. Had a mild situation the last time. We won't get into it.
Somebody bring fireworks.
We won't say who. But let's say we almost had a forest fire. But but I laid the law down on drunkenness and being tripped out. You know, I don't want anyone on mushrooms. This is a straight up sober outing.
Oh my heart!
I did.
Wow, Florida is kind of crazy.
Those are a good set of standards, Matt. Nobody on LSD.
No. Hey guys, you know, this is on me. So I set a standard. I did vet some people that I did not know. And talked to them about an hour on a personal stream, and they were from a Florida group, and they have a lot of we would call it blob squatches, but to them they're very real, and I respect what they're talking about. And we talked about it. I said I want a group to go out and have this discussion offline, out of the toxicity of online Bigfoot world. Let's go out and camp together. And let's talk about this stuff. I said,
great idea.
But if you go there and you make a claim, and if anybody's caught hoaxing, if anybody's caught throwing, if anybody does anything, there's going to be cameras all around. And I'm not protecting you. I laid that out very clearly to everybody that came out. So we got together, and the only thing I had to do was on Thursday night, we got in about 3:00. And I circled everybody and said, you know, I had a big 40 by 60 corridor map printed, laminated of the area they're in. I said, take a look at this. This is what I'm seeing. I want to get your eyes on it. Tonight is meet and greet night. If you all want to go out, you can go out. Friday is scout day. I want no wood knocking, no whoops, no hollers. Be campers, be photographers. I want nothing, no activity whatsoever of anyone trying to be a Bigfooter. And that's a rule I had for Friday. Friday, we did a night set. So the first experiment was bringing 4 different groups in of different mindsets to see what would happen and who would experience something while the others not. I went, wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh yeah.
You know, who's gonna have the experience and who's not? That was number 1. Number 2 was straight up camping and photographers. We went in there as photographers. That's how I got the group camp. We were bird watching, nature hunters. We met on the trail, which is all true. And no Bigfoot activity whatsoever. Just scout out where you want to be Friday. And then Friday night, about 10 o'clock, we went out and set till about 2, 3 in the morning. Everybody found their positions. What I tried to do that was different, that failed with the technology I used, but I still got GPS locations. I still know everyone was. But have you seen the Expedition Bigfoot, and you know, where the team of 4 goes out and splits up in 2 and they go, so-and-so work the river and the other one's in the canyon.
Yeah.
We had 10. We had 10 groups of 2s and 3s spread out over 2 square mile area. So we're going to light that up in post-production to show everybody where we were, where the teams were.
That's
we
cool.
had 2 teams moving. And the idea was, if everyone's there before dusk and does a night sit and sits in a chair, sits in a blind, swings in a hammock, sits on a log, just be quiet, kind of like what you do, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe have one team moving. In this case, it was Brian Darcy of the Swamp. Brian was moving, and he covered a couple miles, and he went farther south though, thinking that see what happened and see if anything passed. I had all these. Here's what I did that failed. I bought Apple AirTags, and I gave everyone an Apple AirTag, and I had 12. So there's 12 teams of 2. What's interesting is, as soon as the Apple AirTags were laying on the table and they were all working, I had them working a week before. I had them all on a keychain. They're all hanging. I pass them out. Bigfoot 1, Bigfoot 2, Alex Petikoff, Eric Swanson, Mike Ann, Tim T. They all got one. As they all left camp, boom. About 20 minutes later, I said, we had comms, and I said, all AirTags are off the map. And I heard this. What? All AirTags went, all of them went off the map as if I was sitting in camp by myself.
Wow.
So I went to the Apple store today and I said, hey, I need to take back $340 worth of AirTags. And they go, why don't you just use Find Me? Because I'm an idiot. But even that, the other thing I did was, out of the 25 people, guess how many had droids?
Droids?
Androids.
Oh, I thought you meant robots, man.
Yes, Jonathan, we have robots too.
Holy cow.
Over half of the group had Androids, so the AirTags wouldn't work. So I had to put Apple people with Android people to make the whole thing work. But I have this map. So let's just say I have this map of our area. I have the river running through it, and it basically, it blows away anything you would have ever seen because it looks like that. And it's going to be lit up, and we all sat there. So that was experiment number 2. And then number 3 on Saturday, I said, everybody, whatever your teams do your own thing. If you're a tree knocker, have at it. If you're a whooper, go have at it. And then that's when you see they're going to be tree knocking. So we're going north, they're going south. You start seeing the division.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was Eric Swanson got me on camera, and I literally almost thought I was going to start crying because he goes, "What do you think about all these people coming down here? You got New York, you got Massachusetts, you got Vermont, you got New Hampshire, you got Ohio." He goes, "This is the Northeast cream of the crop coming down here to be with you." What? And it just hit me like a wall. Like, I can't believe these people drove 1,400 miles, to come help me out with a project in the quarter and put their eyes on it. And everybody's narrative is their own. A couple of narratives are starting to come out. I'm more on Instagram now than YouTube because I have pretty much gone private. But my stuff I am releasing on Instagram, on Central Florida Bigfoot Instagram, and sharing mostly little clips there. Brian and Chewie have released 2 videos. I think one of Mike Ann doing the hair project and how to collect samples, which Jonathan, you need to really be sending that to Darby. I mean, there's a place to set that up. I don't know if you heard about it, but I think it's North Carolina State, and Darby's doing the whole free DNA sampling and the whole bit.
Well, there wasn't. I can share with you that there were there was a cuticle, right? The root. There was the root, but it didn't. It was a later stage hair, and so the blood vessels that attach to feed the hair, when they're in their later stages and fall out naturally, those blood vessels detach, dry up, and the hair, when it comes out, she said it didn't have DNA in it, or that it wouldn't have had DNA in it.
Well, it's free. It's worth a try. And I know you've gotten other multiple hair. So Mike and I are just encouraging everyone to
sure,
to send in their hair samples. But that's pretty much what we did in the corridor. And activity. I don't want to. My wrap up is going to be probably in 2000. What are we in now? 24.
24.
28. 2028. And you're off the hook. Come on, man.
My 4-year journey video is going to come out in and there's a good shot of the corridor right there.
Yeah,
so my video is going to come out in next year. And what this trip is for me is the ending. This is the ending to my 4-year journey when I bring everybody out. And I was hoping to do interviews and get all my interviews set and talk to everybody. I went out. I think I got 5 done. I was so lame. I'm 10 weeks out of knee surgery. I felt like crap. I couldn't even go out. I ended up being a camp host. And I don't know if anyone's ever cleaned up for 25 humans before on a 3-day camping trip. I don't think I'll do that again. That was a lot of fun. But man, I didn't mind it because the fact that they came and I had really good quality people and people of different mindsets. And we had activity. I will give you a nugget. I will give you a nugget. We had activity, and I think you'll see a little bit of it on Brian and Chewie's video. Brian and Chewie go hiking. And of the 25 people, the 3 people, if I had to rank them on who would have an experience, these people would have been 23, 24, and 25. One of them was Max Powers.
Right
the
on.
other one was Mike Hughes from Bigfoot Mafia here in Florida, and I've gone out with this guy, and he basically and I will release his. I photographed his whole testimonial Saturday morning, and I asked him to tell the group what happened.
Nice.
And it's filled with a bunch of holy F's. So they went out Thursday night just to go out, and he ran into a crap load of activity. Let's just say from owls to coyotes to branches breaking to footsteps to mumbling to getting scared out of their wits to a heavy stench odor. I mean, they had the full-blown what the hell is going on.
Sounds like the whole tribe went for the weak link.
This was a Channel 13 news videographer. Not the one you would expect to come back and say, he basically was really close to bailing out, and they were on the radio with Alex saying, you all got to come this way. Okay. And I don't want to go any further. Let's let their videos and narratives tell it. Mine, wow. Again, you're going to see 4 narratives. They're not going to be the same. When you ask 4 people what happened and they saw we're at the same event, it's going to be 4 or 5 different narratives. There, Tim T's going to have content coming out. There's probably going to be 7, 8 different narratives coming out of this thing. But it was Mike Hughes had an experience Thursday night. And what happens Friday morning is we have Mike Andu, the pink hair, how to collect. We had Mike tell his story, which I have both really solid shot. I did manage to put a tripod up and roll on both of their testimonies and teachings. So that came out great. And then it was a Friday, go out and find your spot and sit. And it happens to Max Powers and Brian and Chewie go hiking. And they run into the same shit. Again, not a pair you would think that would be coming back telling us a story. And so it happened on Friday night. So we had some stuff happen. I haven't seen and this is what's amazing with this group that I brought in was Alex Petticoff set up a shared Dropbox. So all the filmmakers and content producers are dropping our footage in there. Mm-hmm. If someone missed something, hopefully somebody else has it. And so,
nice. Very nice.
I mean, who does that? You know, I didn't request that. I didn't ask for anybody to do that. Mm-hmm. I simply said, hey, I can't get out. My knee is killing me. I'm sorry. But if I can get 3, 4, 5 minutes of video of each group going out with their member, so I can, put 5 minutes together for the end of my film that's coming out in 2025 of my 4-year journey. Yeah. And I'm going to put a cap on it. I'm going to tell you my opinion on what's going on, what's not going on. I'm going to talk about Bigfoot community. I'm going to talk about my whole experience and what I think may be out there and whether or not I'm going to continue. But that's coming out a year from now. So everyone's narrative is going to be out well before mine. And mine is not about this trip anyway. It's about my personal journey.
Yeah.
And the friends I brought together to help me figure out this puzzle. Because I think there's something here. I think it's a pretty special spot. And when I brought the map together, the one thing I told everybody, you talk about a corridor that could be a half mile wide at some points, but we were working about 1.5 mile wide area. And we did pretty much a 2 square mile, 10 team night set. So we had that 2 square miles covered. And what's interesting is where the activity does line up for 3 teams. There's somebody else that had activity in mumbling. Basically, the strongest activity we have is mumbling. So the question is, did anyone catch it on recording? Yeah. Not everybody like me. I run and Jonathan, we run recorders all the time. Mm-hmm. Max Powers carries no camera, no recorder. He's there for the experience. Mm-hmm. The person that was with Mike from Channel 13, the same thing. He was there for the experience. Didn't have a camera, didn't have a recorder, was there to support Mike.
Boy, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it is interesting. And there's something in the end that's going to come out in my narrative, but about what happened and where it happened is meaningful. Is very telling to me and puts an exclamation point on crap that's happened to me and Brian out there. They're not going to know about it. They're not going to be able to talk about it. It will be in mine. But it started to do with plotting GPSs of the 10 teams and seeing where there was and what happened where. And I'm telling you guys, it was a crazy, crazy experiment.
It looked awesome. And I was thoroughly jealous and thinking about you guys out there. And a couple of times I was like, call me, Matt, call me so I could be there with you. FaceTime with me right now.
I did one live and I was hurting so bad. I was tripping over pine roots. It was like the dumbest thing I ever did. I couldn't even see. I didn't have any ice to put on my knee at all for 3 days other than what was in the cooler. So it just wasn't good. And I was sleeping in a brand new Bronco I bought. I bought one of those Bronco Sports. And That's the best camping experience I've actually had, though. I will tell you that. But there's a couple things we did. We had the whole camp to ourselves. Is probably 90 yards square, 90 yards across, all directions.
Yeah, that's a lot of room. Nice.
A lot of room. And Mike Ann had us, circle the wagon, so to speak. We parked all the cars with the headlights going out. So if anybody hit an alarm or did anything, that it wouldn't cross through camp. So we had some strategies going on. Everybody kind of
that's some thinking right there.
Well, everybody was whispering in my ear, and I'm like I'm like a first-year rookie quarterback hearing all this stuff, and I did the best I could and tried to get everybody's everyone's input into it. I guess I could have really done a lot more thinking than that, but I really didn't want. And I talked to Nikki about this because you were invited. Is that
sounds like you did great, man?
I just want it to be a God's honest approach to different people, different mindsets, working together. That's why I called it a camp out, sharing ideas, sharing strategies, talking about what happened. There's one group, the paranormal group, I watched one of their videos from Florida. I forgot the exact title. I will post who was there. But they got this weird fog where they're shooting with their camera at night, and fog moves, right? It just drifts and you see it. This thing looks like someone, they were standing over a campfire that was smoking so bad it was coming up like below them up through their lens.
Wow.
And I did a double take on that. I went, I don't know what the heck that is. And of course they were showing orbs, and some of them I was like, well, they're bugs, but you could see the bugs, but then you could see their orbs, and they were like chasing each other. It was the weirdest thing.
Huh.
And I normally kind of look at that like, where are the smaller ones mosquitoes and are the bigger ones like moths out of focus, and they will give that look. But I haven't really tested that, other than on the first camp out, I was shooting long lens. And people were hitting the flashlight, in front of the lens, and the same thing was happening. I would have small little gnats that you would see were bugs, but then you would see these big orbs float off that were the out of focus bugs. Why one bug became an orb and one became a mosquito, a little gnat, I don't know. So maybe they had wings and they were more like moth-like. Not quite sure, but their video is interesting. I mean, there's a lot of takes from this. And it's just
that's what makes it more credible.
Well, it's like the 25-person whisper line you did in grade school. The teacher had you got 25 people line up, and you say, I like the color purple on that red hat. And the next person would pass it up, and the next person would pass it up, and the next person would pass it up. By the time it gets to the front of the line, it's all screwy. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. People were telling me that my reputation was on the line. I don't care. I never have cared. I just want to find out what the hell's going on. What are people seeing?
Yeah, right on.
And that was the only way I could do it. I just did the dream trip with the dream team, with the dream people that came down here to help out, stupid little Matt. And man, it was a blast. I just wish I felt better. I kind of, it was so bad. I was hurting so bad, Nikki, that the last night, Mike and Alex and Brian and Chewie, and I can't remember who it was, literally goes, come on, we're taking you out. And I went, dude, I can't even walk. And they, come on, you walk at your pace. We're all walking behind you. We're giving you a red light. And of course, I'm like going down this Jeep trail, like my legs are going. So I ended up going about a mile out because I wanted to go where the mumblings were heard, and I made it there only to find Alex who it was. Yeah, Alex and somebody was sitting in a blind, my blind. They were using my 270 blind out there. And by the time we headed back, and we were about 2/3 of the way back, probably a couple hundred yards from camp. And it just opened up Saturday night. This was a deluge. I mean, it was
you guys have to watch the corridor from Brian and Chewie, which I've been showing you here, because he shows that footage, and it's kind of hilarious.
Eric and Brian and Chewie are all caught in my blind, which is just a leaky mess.
Oh man.
And all you hear is them laughing, and they go, and then Alex says, "Embrace the suck."
Sometimes it sucks.
Mike wrote in chat here. He goes, Matt, we're going to get you a red wagon, and we're going to hook gimbals and GoPros all over it. And we're going to drag you through the forest. I said, my ass isn't getting in anything with 3 documentary filmmakers here for it to live on forever. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, it was a blast. We're not done with it. No one's even scratched the footage yet. It's really too early to talk about. I mean, I have some assessments on the positioning and what people saw and heard. I've already started thinking about it, that, hey, this could be that, this could be that. But this one, because of where it's at, is very, 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 very legit. I mean, Mike was asked if he's going back to that position on Friday, and he said, hell no. That guy is like you, Jonathan. I mean, he goes out, he's solo a lot. He doesn't fear anything. He's seen things already that has moved him across out of the flesh and blood realm. Yes, he has gone over a little bit. But I've been out with this guy before on a 5-mile walk at Mayaca, and I had activity around me, and I said, Mike. And he goes, did you hear that? And he goes, it's just a squirrel. And he walks off. I mean, nothing was a threat. Nothing was, right. And this was 3 years ago. And I, of course, had Bigfoot on the brain and everything. And Bill, finding the trackway came. I mean, we talk all the time online and do things. I'm finally looking up at the chat. Sorry there, Trackway. But man, got to hang out with him and his wife and talk game cameras. And he started showing me the trigger rates on my camera. I do have a camera set out there right now where the mumbling occurred and where something took off and busted through the brush. And then after that, mumbling started on 2 sides of Max and Brian. One a much higher pitch and one a deeper rumble. It's just funny. And what's really funny is when it happened to Mike Thursday night, Max Powers, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Max is getting up at breakfast. He goes, well, what you probably heard was ibises. Ibises in a nest will flop their wings and blah, 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 and sound like little grandmas. And Max is just hitting him hard, And I warned everybody, it's going to be a campfire, you say something and people are going to give their opinions, whether you want it or not.
That's the best way.
And so Max was going
at him. Got to make people think.
Max was going at him. He comes back the next night and he goes, holy crap. It happened to me, Matt. And I went, you bullshitting me. And he goes, no, it was not ibises. I'm going, are you serious? I didn't believe him. Again, Max is not the person I would think that would come back with that type of narrative. Mike is not the person. I don't know Brian and Chewie, but meeting him, I don't think you all see the clip I did of the interview I seen of Brian. He's like, it's dark out here.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that little clip, it's on my Instagram, but it's really funny. It's I don't know if I can load it up here for you, Nikki. Can
I think I can pull it up. Hold on, just give me a second.
Well, it depends on if it's the wrong type of video.
Is it where he says it's really
on your channel, right?
Here.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram.
You have it on your
it's
your
on Facebook too. I put it on Facebook. You're right. I got it's on Matt Larsen Facebook though. I let my Central Florida Bigfoot Facebook go. It's just nothing that was happening on it.
I think it was a stellar idea. Matt.
Look at Mike's. Look at Mike's last bit. LOL, Max and Brian with knives in hand coming back to us. So what happened was when the thing busted behind, they walked up on a tree after the mumbling happened on one part of the trail. They rounded the corner, came up on another tree, and something like 20, 30 feet away just took off. And that's where I got my trail cam right now.
That
so
one
something
was interesting.
took off,
That one
right?
was completely, totally interesting.
Max and Brian of Brian and Chewie Go Hiking pull their knives. And they're proceeding to text Alex Petikoff with a knife in hand.
Save me! Get your ass down here!
That's pretty much the way the conversation was going.
You guys
Okay, which one is
snipers set up in tree stands? Snipers?
No, that's not that one.
Let me make it bigger. I don't think I can. Hold on. Oh.
So honestly, what do you think of the corridor?
Intriguing. What I like is what you said about what's right outside the corridor. All the untapped land where there's really nothing. So I think you're right. All those, if they're coming from that way to here. But yeah, what a wild place, especially in all the noises. It's a pretty scary place at night, to be honest with you. I keep telling all the Northeast guys, I'm like, I feel like a greenhorn come down here. It's a totally different world. And you can barely see in. It's hard. It's hard to find. What I find the hardest is using the thermals at night because it's so thick.
It's very thick.
Yeah. So, but man, it's a great area.
I don't think when people say it's only a mile wide, I went, okay, there's your 40 yards, go. And they look at that and say, okay, now go 400 yards.
You couldn't pay me to walk through those palmettos. It's just too much. There's so much activity wildlife wise with hogs,
snakes,
spiders.
It's a good place to die.
It's a good place you could die.
Right on.
Yeah, that's great.
If you want to see that full frame, it's on my Facebook full frame, I think somewhere. Brian has it up. He just posted. He's got it up.
Yeah.
And the best part that we don't have on film is Max Powers telling me, he walks up and he goes, and I'll share this with you guys because it's just effing funny, from Max effing Powers. He comes up and he says, Matt, he's dead serious. And I don't know what he's going to say. And he goes, I know I don't carry cameras. I know I don't carry recorders. I'm sorry, but I wish I did last night. I said, why? What? I mean, because of what? I mean, and he goes, no, just to get Brian's face. Because while that shit was going down, he was like, and I mean, there's only one portalet out there at this camp, guys, and I don't think I could run fast enough because I wasn't sure if I could keep it together. But if you all haven't met Brian or haven't hiked with Brian and his dog, oh my God, they're a riot. And Trackway and his wife are just incredible. That shows you a little bit of how big the camp was and all the cars facing out. I don't think we made any. That's me just telling people where everyone came from and thanking them for coming. It was really humbling, guys, to see this many people in a community that you pretty much know online and realize that, the friendships are deeper than you think in the chat.
Yeah.
That when you finally meet and go, and Nikki experienced it too on hers. When you finally meet, there's the killer turtle that they all.
Yeah. I had to grab that one.
That's a great video that's in there because Chewie didn't see it. I mean, they're all doing this and Chewie's oblivious to it, and then when he sees it,
he goes ape shit. Yeah.
I mean,
wonder if Chewie's met a turtle before.
No, that was his first turtle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Brian said that was his first turtle.
Good thing he didn't get his head
did not want to be
inches of it.
So, and notice Alex, he just puts his GoPro down closer than anybody and just steps back. Like, yeah, he's got the shot. The difference between a professional filmmaker.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So it was a blast. I appreciate you giving it a little. But you guys just look for it, and I can't even tell you who's doing what. So I don't know. So I do need to put out everybody in their channel, so you can just start scouring their channels and see different takes of what people saw and experienced.
Yeah, definitely do that.
I'll try.
We're all looking forward to all of that. It's just going to be like wanting to watch
Very much
one
looking
after
forward
another.
to it. Yeah.
But I
You guys are
appreciate
gonna
you
get a
coming
lot of
and-
information out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
coming on and
Trackway
talking about it.
Trackway put the car alarm. So some idiot set off a car alarm 2 nights in a row, right in the middle of the right.
Oh, jeez.
And I rolled over on my car keys once, and the second time I took off my front, pouch where I normally keep my weapon.
Yeah.
I took it off and I squeezed it and I threw it on the front seat of the Bronco and shut the door, and the alarm goes off.
Yep.
And I thought the keys were on me, but the keys were in my chest pack, and it.
Oh, you got the double beep. Deet, deet.
Yeah. It was
Beep,
loud. It
Sure.
was loud.
You gotta love it.
I have one last thing that I wanted to share with you guys because, and Matt, this might be interesting for you since you did the AirTag thing, trying to do that, and they're coming up with this thing called a totem compass. And it is for people who go to these large concerts, okay? And you have multiple people in your group.
Oh, yeah.
You get these little compasses and you hook them together. You can hook 4 together. Each of them has a different color. And on that compass, you can find your part of your group, okay, in the crowds. Like, if you get separated by following the lights on the compass. And what's interesting, it uses no cell service, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, and you don't even have to download an app.
Wow.
They work off of each other, and it looks like that. So you see, you have the 4 different colors, and if you use that diamond as your compass point, that's where people are located around you.
That's something.
And it works up to, I think they said 1,000 feet.
Wow.
But if you're in the dark and you want to know where your partners are, I thought that's kind of a cool idea because you don't have to rely on any kind of outside service,
right?
To pinpoint you because, in a lot of areas, you don't have that service. But I was thinking, man, I want to get some of these for me and my kids because when we go to the farmers market, they're like gone, and I'm like, where are you guys? You have your phones, but it's just a fun little something that I thought maybe that could be used out in the woods, to locate where your group is out there. It's new right now. They're selling them. If you buy more than 4, it's like $50 a piece.
Ooh, that's pricey.
And it's getting more expensive. This was the first round of pricing. So I think it's going to be a big thing for people in venues, going to see concerts and you're wandering around getting lost. But I thought it was a kind of a cool thing, and it's called the Totem Compass. I've got the link down there if you guys want to check it out. There's not a whole lot of information about it. So
they look pretty cool. That'd be
but
good
it's a cool thing. You just
your kids and stuff.
Find your people, without having to be hooked into the internet or Wi-Fi.
The thing with the AirTag, the reason why I wanted the AirTag is I had 12 and I had 13. There's one on my bike. So while we were out there, I could see my bike at home, and it's called Matt's Defiant. My Defiant bike is a brand. And I had BF1 all through 12 in the camp. But again, once they left camp, everything disappeared off the radar except my Defiant bike at home. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what happened. Wow. So like she said at the Apple store, if you're an Apple product and you got 4 or 5 people at least in those many groups, you could do that Find Me on your iPhone. It's already built in, it's free, but the AirTags are $20 each, so they were still pretty pricey. And I had put them in real nice carabiners. I had put covers on them. I put labeled BF1, BF2. I put it on my Instagram. I mean, I was all set and thought, this is genius. Nobody's ever done this, But But still,
it is a great idea.
What I had to do is go back and get everybody's location. I sent them the map and said, plot where you were. And so we have everyone plotted now. We know exactly what's happening. And that's when I'm starting to see interesting things.
You know what? Onyx needs to be able to provide a service where, say, all 20 of you, like whether you had to buy it separately, could all engage
and connect
on a shared map and track your movement in different colors. So one would be red, one would be black, and you would see them moving.
Yeah. Well, the main thing I wanted to do too, like let's say someone gets snatched by a Squatch. Wouldn't it be cool watching that air tag fly across
it would.
At 20 miles an hour while I'm looking at the whole idea is I was going to record my phone screen and go live.
There goes Max. You can hear him squealing.
BF4. I got a rundown cheat sheet Excel, right? Who's what? I went BF4. Oh, power. Oh, crap. He's moving fast. 20, 25 miles an hour the wrong direction.
If I only had a camera.
So I really wanted to go live and show you all that because I love. We'll be able to do it in the final films. Everyone will have their take on the map. Again, it's going to be all different probably, but I know I'm working with a motion designer now that I'll be using to rebuild that, and I'm sure Alex and Eric will probably do the same, or maybe whoever builds it first can share it. But it's a pretty cool idea because it really shows.
It's a great idea.
Everybody doing something at the same time. And I had a wild card in there. I really wanted Hellbent Holler there, and they were going to be my moving team. Yeah. They're the best at moving in the dark. And I had them doing a 2-mile circle and they couldn't make it. But they were my ringers. And then I wanted to imagine if someone had moved through the group and could see everybody, and let's say something was either pushing in front of them or pushing or coming up behind them, and then BF1 would say, we have something here. And then as that group moved to 3, then BF2 sounds off, and it would have been a chain reaction, giving it more credence that, hey, it's not just one person, this whole chain. And think of it this way. When you do something like that,
that's a great idea.
No one in these creature forms are going to expect that. They may see 1 or 2 camping, or 2 go out there and take a sit and go, what's up? And they might start building around them, trying to walk around them. And guess what? All of a sudden they're trapped by someone else and they're moving away from that one. They're going, oh shit, there's a 3rd one. There's a 4th one. It was just like a SWAT attack. And that's what it was meant to do. And in a way, because of the mumbling, you got to ask yourself, would we have gotten that without that strategy? Without 10 teams being out at once? It's confusing. It was confusing to us, but we were, only a couple times did the teams cross each other or see each other and go the other way. And the only reason they see each other, everyone was outfitted with, really good thermals. Mike Ann brought his.
Right. Yeah.
Alex had his.
They had the pulsars.
Trackway has a great thermal. I looked at.
I saw that. I saw his footage just the other day. I didn't even know he had that.
I didn't either.
Until I saw his videos today. I'm like, I was going to get a hold of him and say, when did you get that?
Like cutting out on it.
Holy cow.
Well, guys, we have come to the end. It has come to the end.
Wow, how time flies.
You guys coming and telling us.
Bravo, Matt. Good job.
Great job, you guys.
Man. Good job. Good job, all you guys.
Thank you all for coming and sharing that. And as well as everybody in the chat, thanks for coming and watching another episode. If you feel like it, hit that like button. Hit that like button for me, please. Share this around. And subscribe, for goodness sakes. It's free. It's free. But anyway, I'm going to let you all go so you can go to that next chat. And we'll see you all soon. Love ya. Happy
Matt. Bye, Nikki. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Bye.